Have y'all ever just been minding your own business while someone is venting, but you're kind of listening and you're like, ooh, okay, yes, I agree. That is a very good point there. But then suddenly it starts to get a little bit personal? Well, John from Obese to Beast has apparently been calling my butt out. Hi, lovely humans. I'm Heather, and for those of you who do not know who the heck I am a chunky lady trying to get healthy and sharing everything I learn along the way. Now, for those of you who spend a good chunk of time watching YouTube videos related to weight loss, there's a pretty good chance that you have heard of John from Obese to Beast. He's like one of the OG weight loss YouTubers. These days he does a lot of commentary videos, and I tend to usually just kind of play them in the background and listen along while I'm doing things. And hi, Cleo. She wants attention. As I was saying, basically I watch a lot of John's videos in the background while I'm getting my life together, cooking, cleaning, whatever. Well, I was listening the other night to his video about the whole Jaclyn Hill debacle with using Ozempic and being upfront about it and all that jazz. That is not the point of the story. Suddenly, in the middle of him talking, I felt like I was on the stand of being personally called out with this little tidbit.
You guys know what I'm going to say here, but that's clearly a problem, right? I never spent more than 20 days on a diet. I tried everything. And I don't want to discredit Jaclyn. I'm sure she has tried very hard and she has put in the effort in her mind and she has done everything that she can think of. The issue is that when you are jumping to this thing, to that thing, to this thing, to that thing, to this thing, you have to be consistent.
And if I'm being honest, I think he's got a pretty good point there. For the last few months, I have really felt like I was giving it my all. I was trying so hard. I was working my butt off. I was seeing some results on the scale, and it was awesome. But the more I got to think about it, the more I realized that while yes, I have been making something of an effort, the amount of effort I'm putting out is nowhere near what my brain seems to think I am doing. I have slowly just kind of gotten off track watching another Obese to Beast video, which is what spontaneously reminded me to make this. But I got off track. I went from being super good about looking to really see like, okay, what the crap am I putting in my mouth, being diligent with my workouts, and just like slowly and steadily, it kind of snuck away. Like, am I still working out? Yes. But have I missed a few workouts because I've gotten distracted in the garden? Also yes, and don't get me wrong, while that is a workout in and of itself, like it is a beast, I still want to be diligent about weight training 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, after I get off work, because knowing that I have that schedule and that regularity is what keeps me grounded. And also, I am on Zepbound. I have been upfront about this since I started. There are other videos if you want to follow those. But I was very much dedicated when I started this whole Zepbound thing that I wanted to use it as a tool, not a cheat code.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
I don't want to just be like, okay, yes, it limits my appetites. I'm just going to eat less and whatever the weight's going to come off, la la la. No. What I wanted to do was get the benefit of having the quieted food noise, which has been amazing, and actually be able to focus on putting in place all of those long-term sustainable habits. But in the last month and a half or so, I think I've gotten a little bit lazy on it and just got kind of comfortable with knowing that no matter what I eat, I'm making sure that I'm having good portions. And that is not the only thing you need for healthy habits. Like, I want to make sure I'm going to the gym regularly because I know that I am losing weight and it's very important that I'm losing fat and not my muscle mass. So I want to make sure that I'm weightlifting. And yes, I am eating out way more than I have before. Dear Lord, it is ridiculous. It's at the point where like I'm disgusted by the idea of going out to eat, but the habit is so ingrained that the idea of cooking is a foreign concept to me. And that's ridiculous because I love to cook. What the heck? When I go out to eat, yeah, I make sure that I'm trying to order, for the most part, pretty decent stuff on the menu. And 9 times out of 10, I'm taking home half or 2/3 of it simply because the portions in America, when you go out to eat, are insane. But all of it has been an afterthought. So yeah, the scale was still changing because things were a little bit better, but none of that is long-term sustainable habits. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I can't afford to go out to eat 30 days a month. Like, absolutely not. Oh my goodness. So what I am asking of you beautiful, beautiful people today is just to watch this video so you can hold me accountable because I am going to try to get my crap together. My house is a disaster. Like, excuse me, there's crap all over this counter. It is working my last nerve. So all I want is to get it cleaned up and to cook one single meal.
So let's do this thing!
The thing that I want to cook is chicken yakisoba. I don't think this is an authentic recipe, but I've never had it, so I don't frankly know the difference. But it's one of the ones where it's kind of like a quick fix as opposed to having just generic ramen, and it is jam-packed with veggies, which I think would be a good way to start because I'm at the point where I don't even remember what a vegetable tastes like. Are you leaving me? How dare you? It has literally been on my to-cook list for 3 months. Damn! You don't even want to know how many freaking times I have bought chicken and then it has gone bad in the fridge because I just haven't been able to get to it to have the energy or the drive to cook. That's ridiculous and a lot of food waste. Look at it. I finally bought it. That is the chicken, and that is the last time I swear that I'm going to buy this because I'm going to freaking cook it now. I'm also going to take this moment to encourage you guys to figure out whatever it is in regards to your fitness and health journey that you've been making excuses for. I'm calling you out with the help of John's inspiration. And I'm going to encourage you to take a second to make a plan to figure out how the heck to get that particular behavior in check. In my case, it's carrying you lovely people with me while I force myself to cook. So obviously the kitchen has to get clean before I can actually legitimately cook anything because ew, I'm not doing that. That's filthy. And I am hell-bent on getting it scrubbed today and really looking forward to it, to be honest. But the problem is that means I have to wait longer to be able to cook the chicken yakisoba. But for some reason, the fact that I know I need to cook it, and that's the one thing I've been trying to cook for 3 months and haven't gotten to, is giving me freakish amounts of anxiety. Do y'all ever have that problem where it's like there's the thing that you know you need to work on that would make your life better, but somehow knowing that that is why you're doing it makes it harder? Like, what is wrong with me right now? Ugh. Okay, enough whining. Go clean the kitchen. Do it. I'm yelling at myself, do it. Now, I was planning the chicken yakisoba for dinner because I knew it would take me some time to clean up the kitchen and then, of course, to cook it. But I had to eat lunch first. And I will be the first one to admit that I did an absolutely piss-poor job of planning ahead, which is why the only things that I had ready to go to eat in the house were a frozen pizza and a questionably old bag of pre-packed salad. Now, don't worry, I'm not delusional. I'm well aware that having pizza for lunch is not exactly like the optimum health decision when you're trying to lose weight. I am okay with having it in moderation. Usually what I try to do is pair it with a salad or with a fruit. I would actually love to get to the point where I am able to get it together mentally and physically to plan in advance something that is considerably more healthy and entirely handmade for lunch. The main reason I keep getting these frozen pizzas is kind of just as a backup option because to me it feels better than just straight up going to Taco Bell or Jack in the Box. Obviously, I have a long way to go in this journey. This is definitely a very rough period. While I was waiting for the pizza to cook, I decided to tackle my least favorite chore of all time, dishes. I would love to say it was like that scene out of Enchanted where all of the little animals come out of the woodwork to help her clean.
And scrubbing up the toilet.
But unfortunately, the only animals in my house are a bunch of mooches who do not clean up after themselves. Hello, you little heathen. I gotta close the dishwasher for you to get out. Hold on. Ugh. Clearly our attempt at bell-proofing has not worked. Get out. I was not kidding when I said I had to deep clean this entire kitchen. Scrub every device before using it for the next 3 months. I am installing those child-proof locks this weekend if it kills me. Or cat-proof. I was so freaking excited to finally be able to see the countertop that I got a little bit carried away with the Lysol wipes. Die, germs, die.
Well, that was interesting.
And yes, y'all better believe that counter was clean and sanitized before I put that pizza on it.
What are you doing? Did you catch your mouse? Were you proud of it?
I think it's safe to say that this was kind of a reminder that when your house gets out of order, your diet is going to get out of order too, because I'm already feeling better just having that counter clean and some dishes cleaned, and I'm actually slightly less anxious about cooking. So we're headed in the right direction. I decided to continue my forward momentum by having some Benefiber with my water since I haven't had a lot of veggies lately. Clearly it went really well. All over my clean counter. Fantastic. Don't even think about it. You are not getting on my counter. That lasted literally a minute and a half, and then she tried to jump up on the counter again. If you guys have any suggestions for keeping your cats off the counter, short of, strangling them, because I do actually love the little Heppas, I would love to hear it because it's disgusting and I don't want cat paws on my counter. I still clean it every single time before I use it, but it's the principle of the matter. I took a minute to have 2 small slices of pizza, though I probably should have started with the salad first, but I got to it eventually. April 27th. Why did I still smell that? Sorry about the dishwasher noise. So it turned out that was actually not the bag that I thought was the only one in there. There was another one. This one says May 11th, and it's like the 28th. So we'll see. I think it's okay. How expired is too expired for salad? I think it's actually okay. It's not even slimy, thank God. Clearly I need to clean out the fridge more often. So just kidding. It somehow smelled so-so and wasn't slimy, but upon closer inspection, it was moldy. So this is your reminder for why it is important for these small little bitty changes, like, planning ahead for your food and actually sticking to when you're going to use it instead of buying the same salad kit, I don't know, 14 times because it keeps going bad. Clearly we're on a great roll today, so I'm a little bit annoyed with myself. A lot. Since the veggie option is out, I will be having an apple because I know for a fact that those aren't bad, but at least there's some fruit today. Goodness.
Day 4.
Vitamins. And light. I'm also going to take some extra vitamin D because usually when I'm dragging like this, it's kind of one of the only things that gets me moving. You know what they say about the best laid plans?
Poor guy's gonna crash and burn.
The last part y'all saw, I basically, right after that, had to pretty much take a shower and go to bed for work in the morning. Then I had 2 very jam-packed days of work stuff and family stuff, and my general to-do list was taking over so bad, I felt like I didn't have 5 seconds to see straight, and I still have like 25 more items on it. And then because I was so busy the last 2 days, today is basically the day where chronic fatigue was like, girl, you are done. It is 1:30 in the afternoon. I already had kind of like slept until 9, which when I normally get up at 5:40 is huge for me, but I was still just like dead on my feet. And so I basically took a bath and then came in here and like passed out with the cat. I think I'm just at that weird stage of weight loss where I'm like, okay, is it that I'm actually, like, don't get me wrong, last month, yes, I have not really been trying as hard as I could, but there are some days where I do genuinely feel like I'm trying, but that I either cannot seem to make the diet portion a priority or I don't physically have the time to be able to do so. I'm trying to figure out how to reprioritize without having the rest of my life fall apart because I have so much on my plate, and to be completely honest, I have no idea how exactly I'm going to do that, but it is for sure a goal. It kind of bothers me that I don't have all the answers right this second, aside from like, duh, yes, try harder, but then the harder I try, then chronic fatigue comes in and it's like, no. Either way, I now have to go buy the chicken again because it expired again. I also don't have enough energy to finish cleaning the rest of the kitchen yet. I absolutely will before I do the actual cooking, but it's okay if you have to, especially if you're someone who deals with chronic fatigue or you just don't have the energy that day. Take a break, sit down, use a TV tray, cut the veggies in your living room. You can bag them up, and if all else fails, you can throw them in the freezer. Ma'am, you're very cute, but that is not sanitary. You're gonna have to keep your distance while I'm cutting. No, I'm sorry. Go away, go away. She's a snuggle bunny. It's one of those things where I know all of the little tips and tricks for how to be healthier, how to lose weight. Sometimes I just don't have the energy, and sometimes it seems like there's not enough hours in the day. But for today, I'm going to do the best I can with what I've got. And I'm saving the scraps for my compost pile. Does anyone else cut their broccoli like this, or am I just a weirdo? I made the sauce for the chicken yakisoba first. That is actually what the recipe relies on for the most part for flavoring because everything else in it was very basic. You first saute some ginger in a pan and then you cook your chicken, which I did order for the 90th time from Walmart. And I realized at this point that this was a lot of chicken for a very small pan, but honestly, it looked just so basic and bland and white. I was really skeptical of the recipe at this point because that sauce was going to have to bring a lot of flavor. Once the chicken is a fully cooked, depressing shade of beige, you set it aside and then use the same pan to cook your veggies. I added a little bit more oil and then sauteed my onions and carrots that I had already put in the freezer so they were cut up and ready and waiting for me. If you've ever had this dish before, whether the traditional version or something else, and it looks a lot different, please let me know in the comments because I would love to know the other options. After I cooked the carrots and the onions for a little bit, I also added a veritable crap ton of cabbage. I think this recipe honestly called for a lot too much. And then we added some broccoli. And by that point, I realized that there was a mountain in my pan and it was not going to be even close to big enough. So I switched everything over to a wok because that's basically the biggest pan I own. And then I added a little bit of sesame oil and a little bit more ginger and cooked the veggies down a little bit more. While I did that, I also got to boiling some water and cooking the actual ramen noodles. Once everything was done, I added the chicken back in and of course the noodles and the sauce. All right, I think I was a little bit low on carrots, so this as a whole looks a little bit more yellow with like a hint of green from the broccoli. But honestly, I'm just excited to taste something that is homemade, and I hope the recipe is good. This is one of those meals where it's like, is this meal as a whole healthy? No, like there's noodles, there's plenty of oil, but there's also a ton of vegetables, which is something that I really struggle to actually get in my diet because I just don't get excited about them. And either way, it's going to be less salt and less calories than any of the meals I would have gone out to eat. I wouldn't say I'm a diehard fan of this, like at all. It's kind of bland. The main thing I'm tasting is sesame oil and cabbage, and that's kind of it. But you know what? It's edible. So when all is said and done, it took me more than a hot minute just to clean my kitchen and to cook a single meal. And sometimes life is like that. Hi. Clearly this is a very cat-filled video. Now, as for John calling out Jaclyn Hill, and by default, myself, honestly, he's pretty stinking right. In the first part where he mentioned that, ma'am, I'm filming. Can you move? The first thing he had talked about was that you can't just ping pong back and forth and try like 20 different diets. In my case, I'm trying the overall same diet in the context of just a sustainable lifestyle changes, but my problem is actually getting them to the point where they are sustainable because I know what I need to do to be healthy, and that's obviously like stop eating out every 5 seconds and cook some freaking meals and gradually make them healthier and healthier with like fruits, veggies, and being protein forward. But I'm struggling a lot with making it a priority. One of the things I realized as I've kind of gone on this whole weight loss journey or adventure or whatever it is there's always going to be something in life that seems like it might be more important. Something that takes precedence, at least in my head, over what I need to be putting in my mouth. What do you do when that happens? For me, it's always been, oh, well, there's some family issues going on, or, oh, I have to get through PT school, or, oh, I had to study for the boards. There's always something big and scary, and I have to figure out how to maintain those good habits that now are not habits anymore because I have not done them in so long. So I got to rebuild them and then maintain them. But I've got to figure out how to make those a priority without getting so far behind in the rest of my life that I'm screwing up my entire life. My health is really important. That is a priority, and I need to adjust my mindset. The other thing John talked about was consistency, and obviously I have not been consistent. I love that I have you guys as an audience, and thank you if you stuck around this long. You guys are the best. I love that I have you guys as an audience because it helps me to feel encouraged and know that there's this amazing community out there where we're all just like trying to get healthy and doing the best we freaking can. And I am very, very grateful for you guys. It also helps me to try to make a bigger effort to be consistent simply because I'm like, oh, there's people out there that are watching this. But I don't only want to post the content. Are you trying to lick my armpit? That's really freaking weird, ma'am. Okay. No, that's weird. Let's not. Ew, it's gross. She has a weird obsession with my deodorant. I don't understand it. But I don't only want to post videos when things are good because realistically, when you're trying to get healthy and change your entire freaking life, there's going to be times and moments and sometimes months where you feel like you cannot get your crap together. In this entire video, my anxiety was an all-time high. I think I have like 1.5 eyebrows because yay OCD, and my face is a wreck because I've been picking at it and I could barely put 2 thoughts together. So extra thank you for staying around this long. But I'm hoping that by putting this out there, you guys will know that
that one, you're not alone if you're having a rough go of it. And two, we all got to get our crap together and be consistent. Like John said, oh my God, stop looking at my armpit. That's so freaking weird. Clearly, the cat is distracted and so am I. So I will just say thank you for tuning in, and I will do my best to continue to get my crap together. And I hope that you guys are having a much more together time of your life and your weight loss adventure than I am right now, but we'll get there. Bye bye.